All right. First thing that I would like to say good afternoon and good day to everybody in this webinar. So we are honored to have you all here as a team speakers and the audience. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is 𝘲𝙡𝙪𝙚, also known as PC, and I am the Senior Lecturer at the Faculty of Built Environment and Surveying, UTM. So it's our pleasure to collaborate with NS Bluescope Lysaght in organizing the Industry Webinar Engagement 2022, the Studio as Living Laboratory. So today we are presenting the Industry Webinar Engagement 2022 UTM Architecture Program and NS Bluescope Lysaght, brought to you by Architecture Program, Faculty of Built Environment and Surveying, UTM, presented by our special guest from NS Bluescope Lysaght. I'm glad to welcome our honorable guests of today before we start the webinar. So the first speakers of today, Mr. Eric Chan, Specifications and Business Development Managers of NS Bluescope Lysaght, will be talking about the metal roof and wall cladding design considerations and applications. And the second guest speakers for today, Ms. Suraya Johari, the Technical and Design Managers of NS Bluescope Lysaght, will be talking about the key considerations in the design of cold-formed steel roof truss and framing system for optimized sturdiness and strength. Our third speakers of today, Mr. Rocky Shed, the Technical Marketing Engineer of NS Bluescope Lysaght, will be delivering his topic on taking advantages of different paint finishes. So please take note for each speaker's time. The time allocated for each talk is around 20 minutes. And we are going to start with our speakers number 1, followed by our speaker number 2 and 3 chronologically. And subsequently, we are going to have 15 minutes to 20 minutes for the Q&A sessions after the 3 speakers. So a photo sessions will be slotted in after the Q&A sessions before we end our session today. So just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the questions in the chat box in our WebEx control panel. I will bring them up during the presentation, and we will also have time for questions Q&A verbally at the end. For the viewers for this webinar, I will attach the link of the attendance form in the chat box. So please kindly fill in your details. E-cert will be provided after the webinars. Okay, so now without further ado, we will turn the time over to you, the first presenter, Mr. Eric Chan, with his topic entitled Metal Roof and Wall Cladding Design Considerations and Applications. I welcome Mr. Eric to start the talk. The room is yours. Thank you, Mr. Eric.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, good afternoon. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eric Chan. So today we're going to present the metal roof and wall cladding design consideration and applications. So a knowledge to share with you all on how to choose the right metal roofing and some material. Okay, today our agenda will go through the introduction of NS Bluescope and also some inspiring design by using MetalDeck and metal roof design considerations, what profile that you need to consider, and any characteristic or criteria. And of course, we're going to share some track record to our actual project and let you all understand the installation process as well. And we will have a summary and a specification description to share with you all, and of course our BIM object. Okay, without further ado, I will just let you all to understand what is Bluescope and Bluescope Lysaght. So for us, right, For Suraya and me, actually, we from downstream business, and Rocky is actually from midstream business. What the midstream business do, Bluescope Steel is actually, they are processing on zinc-aluminum, colourboard, and true core for the material, basically. So for us, right, we are stressed on the profile. We are in downstream business, and we have 54 years in Malaysia already. So this is ASEAN's maps that we located at here. Of course, we have Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Singapore as well. So where are we? We actually are located at Shah Alam manufacturing plant, and we have branch office in Penang and Johor. So our Johor branches is actually in 𝘬𝗓𝗪𝗏. So I think today audience is in UTM, and you're quite familiar with the Johor area, where our location is in BMS Mall. So okay, we are the first roll former in Malaysia since 1968. Previously, we was named as John Lysaght, and after that, we changed the name to become Bluescope Lysaght, and now we actually joint venture with Nippon Steel. We name it as NS Bluescope Lysaght. So what we focus in our manufacturing, we are doing roofing and walling, steel truss, and structural decking. So I'm going to present on roofing and walling, and Suraya will be go for truss and structural decking later. So okay, some inspiring design to share with you all. Okay, just imagine that if you're in the future design as this kind of buildings, and so what do you think? So if let's say this drawing throw to us, so what kind of material that we need to use to cover it on the roofing? So basically this project following up and also liaise more with architect is I'm the one who in charge this. So at first the architect also very confused. What material have to use? What roof have to use? Either use shingle roofs, tiles roof, or even a conventional metal deck. Then is it possible to complete it? So at the end, they choose our standing seam. So I will go through in detail later on for those detailing. And at the end, you can see that they choose this material is very sharp and suit to their design buildings colors. So in Chinese, we can call it like 𝘬 Actually, the design, the inspiration came from there. So they try to design as this Hakka 𝘬. So another design, if let's say this is Sarawak Museum, imagine that you design as this, see whether our metal deck are able to complete on it or not. So with this some more gold color, is it Bluescope still able to do it? So in fact that we have spent a lot of effort, and finally it come to the real buildings. So okay, another project that I would like to share is this is actually overseas project. So this is located is 140 kilometer from southeast of Melbourne. It called it Phillips Islands. So if let's say you all have traveled to there before, actually this Phillips Islands is come with a very natural base of experience. Those tiny penguins making the slow journey up to the bridge from the water to their nest. So it's really amazing. I would say very amazing kind of natural base. So so imagine that when the penguins, those penguins can even actually slowly do the journey to their nest, right? So is then firstly you come to your mind is very close to the coastal area. So the buildings that what you need to consider, whether the profiles suitable to use or not, and to suit to this so-called star-shaped design, and also the material, what you need to use, is it will be corrosive or not? So everything that will come to the architect mind. So at the end, we use this so-called clip lock 700, which is similar to Malaysia profile clip block Optima, is an ideal profile for the coastal building locations due to the weather tightness. And also, they are in this project actually using clean carbon ultra. So all the material later, Rocky will share more detail how to choose the right material for different area. So at the end, this just sharing to you that they are using carbon ultra just because of nearby to the seas. So and this star-shaped buildings is actually got 2 awards. One is Victorian Architecture Award and also the International Architecture Award. So this is actually to replace the old building that I went before. So that one is very small then, and they just on 2019 they just finished with these projects. So okay, this is I'm going to share another project also in Australia. So you see, very special design. Why they want to do this features wall is just want to bring out the outstanding of the design. So when it comes to this project, how we're going to help them? Just sharing that this building actually is a local and proven constructions company in Alice Spring. So we call it MPH project. So they themselves is contractor. So definitely want to have a better design and also to finishing to show to others that they able to complete it. So at the end, they are using custom oak and also trim deck and the structure decking bond deck to use in their floor. So another design, this also in Australia, in Ballarat. So it's a Lucas Community Hub. So according to the articles that this project also comes with very tight budget, but they still want to complete it and design as a very unique. So at the end, they are using Spandex and also Panarip to complete it. It also just want to features with the prominent on the exterior and also combine the heavily patterns of these bricks wall. I call the officials Ballarat, these are Ballarat patterns. So these end up they finish this design with nicely completed buildings. So of course, after I share three of the these 3 projects referenced in overseas, of course, in Malaysia and very close to your Johor area is this estuary garden. So in Nusa Jaya, somewhere nearby Puteri Harbour there. So you can see the architect actually also designed is a fancy kind of design. So end up we also able to complete it by using spandex and come with this kind of darker color just to match with that. So it's also come with the ground. The ground levels is on this brickwork. So it's similar to just now I shared that Ballarat one. Okay, so all this inspiring design, how we help the architect and engineer to complete it, to turn into the actual building. So this is our job to sharing with you all, and especially those technical support. So okay, after showing that, so now I will go through the design considerations when you want to design buildings that require to use a metal roof. Then basically you have to consider the physical properties, the material. So-called the material is like thickness and also color bond or what others material as well. And type of fixing is either pierce fasten or a conceal fix. So like you have to think of your minimum roof pitch. Is it able to reach on that? On also the allowable support spacing. But rule of thumb is more on 1.2 some. So and also the maximum length versus the rainfall intensity. You can design a very long length roof from bridge to the eave, but the metal roof, is it able to carry the water to channel to the gutter? So it won't be like happens on overflow, then it causes leaking issue. So and also lastly, you need to see whether it's a natural curve or a pre-curved roof. So all this will affect you to choose a correct profile. Okay. You can stop me anytime that if let's say you would like to ask anything else, we can wait until Q&A. So okay, when there is a very common concerns that when come to metal deck design, so you definitely think of it's very noisy, very hot, and how it can last. So just like we on the noise, right? What we can do is we can add in the stone wool or glass wool underneath of the metal roof, that it will reduce the noise to acceptable level, and also the heat as well. You added in the wool and also the reflective insulation barrier that to transmit reduce the heat transfer to the buildings. And also you can choose the right material to avoid this happen. So if let's say like your UTM student in school die, so I think you can if let's say you pass by the Nusa Bestari area, right, you can see all the roof is actually turned into this kind of condition already. The normal color, so-called color metal roof is also turned rusty, and some turn faded to the other colors already. So all this is because of they are using a not correct material, so it causes it happen on this, especially when you design a high pitch roof, right? So people can see. If you design a flat roof, so it might not so obvious. So okay, some profile that we are offering and we are manufacturing, it can divided into 3 categories, like corrugator profile, standing seam profile, and also flat profile. So actually some profile can be used at roof, some can use in both, and some not able to use it in a flat roof. So okay, now come to the fixing method. The fixing method can be like just I mentioned, the screw type or conceal types. So by normal conventional one, definitely you can see it's using screw profile. So and some design really require, where some if let's say using a clips profile, then we have standing seam. So this is different kind of clips accessories. So by using conceal fix, right, you won't see any screw on the top. So it will reduce the rusty issue or the leaking issue in the long run. So I will just run through very fast on our profile, because I know that you are more keen to know the design and the process. So okay, this Clip Lock Optima, we are the highest rig in the market and wider pans. So this profile basically we are supplying more on industrial. Those require a very long length roof, and this kind of Spandex Optima and Trim Deck Optima is a screw profile used on cladding. So it's just different in their shape, the profile shape, to suitable on whether any design and also aesthetic purpose. So HR29 Optima as well, and also custom oak. So this is a standing seam range of profile. It's either in a zip profile or these two in seam profile. It's more flexible profile that you can do it in a lot of different buildings, like in JB, right? This zip deck we are using in a Unigra, in a Pasir Gudang. And if let's say you pass by the Skudaito, then you can see beside on your left hand side, just right beside the AME engineering, then you can see there is a farmland bakery is using zip deck. So and also multi-clad, and this extras is a flat profile, only can be used is ceiling, used on ceiling and also the cladding. So okay, just want to share you all some track record that actually we helped to build the nation since 1968. We highlight few significant project. Okay, like this Maple tree. So I think when you all order place order on Shopee or also Lazada. Actually, you can see when you receive your parcel, right? Some showing like Mapletree logos. All this is actually logistic factory warehouse that recently is a very hot topic that, and those clients is actually built a lot of this kind of warehouse just to cater for the heavy orders and storage. And Coca-Cola factory, you can see very long length roof. All these require the clip lock Optima to perform it. And this is our rate. So we are the highest in the market for the 3mm. So of course, very close to you is this project. Although you can't identify from the picture, but it's actually is Hershey factory in Senai. You roll from the ridge to the eve is 120 meters. So imagine that you just want to run in 100 meters. It also takes you about 15 to 20 seconds to complete it. So just imagine the length of the roof. And also this is PKT logistic again. So now it's very common for the client to build logistic company. Okay, some Tabral, like you see, very close to your UTM student. Sometimes you go there to have your lunch or dinner. So in Sutra Mall, all the Sutra Mall project, even beside this Birkin restaurant also using us. So like Mini Cooper showroom and BMW just next to Aeon Tabral. So okay, now we want to show the Spandex profile. Just now we show the clipping profile. It also can be used on the residential, like most of the horizon hill project is using clip lock. And I think I just want to see whether you all are familiar with this photo. It's actually in the seat. So this developer using our profiles, even though screw profile, but then they are using clean color bond spectrum. So it's a metallic colors. So just want to bring the aesthetic and the corrugated and bring out the corrugated feel to the buyer. So they are actually using a very quality material that even better than the normal color bond range. They go for spectrum metallic color. So this is industrial profiles. It's more you can lay it horizontal and also vertical as well. It's a conventional kind of roofing sheet. But the good things that using this profile is actually higher rate compared to others. So some developers in Desa Tembalang, also close to your, the developer use it on their roof and even to promote to the buyers that actually they are using quality profile and material using our Bluescope Lysaght. So if let's say your design come to a curve cladding and you would like to, initially this architect, right, they want this project, this architect, they want to use a composite panel at the cladding, but at the end, after they take a lot of considerations, they are choosing ours. Then we able to help them to propose in quality material, and we even use XPD Bulletin, which is a premium range of color bond and match with our profile. By using that is using silver coin. And of course, IKEA. This IKEA is actually in Tabral, also close to you all. I think most of the students, if want to buy some furnitures, we will go to these areas because there is only one and only in Johor. IKEA is in Tabral. Their cladding sheets is using ours. So a lot of architect, right? They are asking, hey, how come my design using metal cladding, but still cannot bring out the feelings that like very rigid kind and very nice looks for the buildings. So it's actually, I always use this IKEA project to share with them because while in Malaysia there is a lot of IKEA project, so very easy to identify. So they say that it's very rigid because of they are using thicker material, and they're willing to spend money on using premium colors. So that is actually bring the effect to that. So okay, if let's say this custom op, if your design doing curve, but curve in verticals, or even at this some curving parts, need to use custom op, custom blue op. So this profile custom op can be done to match with your design. So even some using as a cladding, also the roofing as well. So when it comes to this design, right, definitely some of the profile cannot complete it. Even can do it, right? So their profile rib is not curved enough. So it won't bring you the very aesthetics kind of look. So this profile actually suits the most to on this. And yeah, this is zigzag profile. So it's zip. The advantage is they are using higher rib and also using seam, either machine seam or hand seam. So you won't see any screw on top of it. So okay, are you familiar with this? I think everyone will be passed by when going to school or to your uni, because this is in UTM. And also this project, if you happen to go to the Medini Mall, just besides Legoland, so you can see this roof. You see there is a tapered and round shape, and downstairs actually is Starbucks. So next time when you go there to drink your coffee, then remember to have a look, see whether how well and what is the design for this. So be able to complete it, even the round shape, and also curve halfway and the other and turn the other round. So and you can see by using this 360 seam, right? The seaming process is first step, the female rib overlap to there, then and seam on it. So turn 360. So you can see the rib is very slim, very nice design, and you can't see any screw on top of it. So just give you another example. This is in Star Hill, also in Johor, Star Hill Golf Club there. So you can see, even though the architect designed a lot of ridge capping, but things is when using this profile, right, even a ridge capping, you also can't see any screw on top of it. So if let's say compared to normal conventional type, you will see the screw. So even though you design this kind of patterns, we also able to complete it. So okay, come to this multi-clad. Then there is using as a cladding, but can't use in roofing. So basically, they are using it on double skin roof on the interior part. So like if your design to have this kind of ceilings, flat sheets, flat ceiling. So this architect also using our profile, and they add another lighting and choosing the copper penny. So at night, right? So you will see very very nice buildings that with the light to bring out the architecture's kind of design. So even those like so-called like similar to strip ceiling, so you need to use it as ceiling. Then you just choose white colors, like those petrol stations we widely use on this kind of profile. Okay, after showing all the design and also project photo, just go through a quick one on installation, how to install, if let's say talking about using in the process, right? So you definitely will be wondering how to install. So I will go through in our clip log profile. So say about this Berlin. So if without insulation, without wool and foil, they straight away fasten the clips. This is our clips. So our clips is more advantage than common in the market because we only need one screw. Without this screw, you won't able to fasten on it. So this is also want to ensure the architect that every rib there is fastened with the clips. So else, if you just want to like skip a clip, right, it will affect the performance. So actually the roofing sheet might be fly off as well. So this is how it join. So if with the insulation, then you just add another the first layer reflective aluminum foil, then add another layer of the wood, then start fasten. Yeah, just clip on it. So after lay on the sheets, then you just step on it. That's why we call clip lock, clip and locking system. So this is how it tack on the king. So after do the installation, remember to have a housekeeping, else all those leftover debris or the swab, then if you cause the metal sheets to rusty, accelerate the rusty speeds. So better to have housekeeping after you install. It's very important. And some of the buildings owner will find out that if let's say without this housekeeping, right, the rust is there, the swab left over there. So just if really happen on that, just use like detergent to clean it up. So this is how our clips perform well. Okay, now I'm going to show another case study. Is standing seam in Malaysia, Hans study in Malacca. So as you know that on the first photo that I showed to you all, I already mentioned the architect whether consider using what kind of profile to complete it in this design, so-called 土楼 design. So ended up they choose our standing seam to complete on it. So this is a completion photo. So when we receive this drawing, right, it's actually on a plan view. Then we just study and give a cut list while doing supply and install. So we point out every tapered radius and also the sizes and complete on it. This is how it show the detailing joined with the parapet wall, and also how the eave been fixed nicely. So looking at the detail B, this is the eave, and detail A, you need to tuck in the flashing and seam it. So this is the finishings. So even though there is a rail, then at this point you need a metal roof, then you also can be designed at a straight one. So another project, 𝘲𝙟𝙘. This 𝘲𝙟𝙘, sorry, there is a typo here. It's actually 𝘲𝙟𝙘 industry in Shah Alam. So they are using our extrude profile. So just let's see how it terminate. If let's say talking about the section AA. So you can see how it join into a terminations. There is a capping and downstairs. So when the water flow, then it won't water seepage. So this is how they do the finishings. So come to section B at the lowest here and join with the flat profile. Then you need this trim flashing to cap on it. And also, of course, you can see we do a lot of this L angle. Actually, this L angle is adjustable. So this L brackets to just adjust in case we want to like adjust on the line on this image at that point. So if let's say like corner cupping, how to do it? Yeah, this sharp edge. So they just trim on it to bend to customize the capping. And this area, DD, is windows, and also these windows and some aluminum joined with us, how we do the terminations, added in the capping. And of course, as you can see, we still have added in this adjustable. By right, we can screw at this Berlin. but we use this L bracket to adjust the alignment. So of course you can see this project, right? There is infused with the rock wool, so to reduce the heat and sound transfer on it. So inside they are using Lysaght metal multi-clad, which is just how I showed the photo. Use it in either way, the interior one. So and also section EE on top of it, how you pack on it. Just want to avoid the water seepage and gutter, and also always implement this gutter flashing to avoid the water to backflow seep in. So they might have the problem if let's say you are doing so. So come to section FF, how the joint in between these structures members, then it also added in, tuck in the flashing first, then only install on this. And same goes to here, flashing, and this is sheet panel to complete it. So okay, after all, just let me to summarize why I need to use Lysaght, why we want to consider Lysaght. So we are the first roll former in Malaysia, and we are this warranty is actually back to back from Bluescope, and also we are the ISO certificate, and we have this MS 2502012 series product certs, and of course all the catalog that we printed out and we show in the website, our profile is tested, and also we have enough machine capacity to cater for the project. And also you can see just now I show all the long length roof are using ours, and we are not just by saying only, we use the actual project to prove on it, and we are international brand and supporting from different country and some technicals, since we are international brand, right? So if let's say our technical not able to support on your project, but we still have other country, this is also one of our advantage. And some detailing support, like just now I showing all those detailings. We are standardized coin supplier, meaning to say our parents company NS Bluescope, we just can buy from them because we are under the same group of company, and we can give you a roof system provider, and also the preferred FDI preferred brand. Most of the FDI investor would like to choose ours. So if next time you happen to after you all graduate, so you have chance to handle the project yourself, then you need to do a specification. So always can refer to this by specifying a Lysaght profile, right? So a metal deck. So you need to choose a profile, the thickness, and also the material. So say about like Lysaght Clip Lock Optima, and what is the thickness? BMT. BMT means base metal thickness. TCT means total coating thickness. Then you can spell out clearly, and either you want to use what kind of insulation, you can recommend or look for us. Then we just give you the advice, and also the vapor barrier, this aluminum foil, and this is cladding profile. Not much different, just still remember the profile and the thickness and the material. Three basic criteria that to specify a metal deck. So of course, we also have doing this beam. So in our website, our beam object is actually ready already. So you just need to scan or go to our website to download on it, even though some typical detailing that also can found in our website. So now come to the end. I have done my sections. So Bao Zhong, I will over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Eric, for the insightful topics on the metal roof and the wall cladding design considerations and applications. So the overviews of the materials and the case study will give our audiences, especially our students, a better understanding in the steel solutions. Okay, for students and all the audience, or if you have any questions, so please drop the questions in the chat box. So I will raise it up at the end of our webinars. Okay, so next, let us invite our next speaker, Ms. Suraya Johari, the Technical Marketing Manager from NS Bluescope Lysaght. She's going to deliver her topic entitled The Key Considerations in the Designs of the Cold Form Steel Roof, Truss and Framing System for Optimized Sturdiness and Strength. So without further ado, I welcome Ms. Suraya to start the talk. The room is yours. Thank you, Ms. Suraya.
Right, let me share my screen. Right, thank you very much to the speaker. Thank you, Dr. Leng. All right, I appreciate the introduction, but I would like to do a correction a bit. My name is Suraya Johari. I am a technical and design manager. It's not marketing, right? It's okay.
Right, sorry about that. Maybe a typo.
No problem.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the notice.
And it's great to be speaking with all of you today. And before I start, hello everybody. Welcome to this webinar, which is what we are going to talk about today. My session, only 20 minutes, is on the key consideration in design of cold form steel roof truss and framing system for the sturdiness structure. Okay, but before that, if you have any questions or clarification about my talk, feel free to type it in the chat box, or I shall get back to them right after my presentation, or you may also email it to me. Okay, there's my email there and my phone number, right? And let me, before I continue, let me have some let me start by saying just a few words about myself, because I am proud as a graduated from UTM. Okay, with master of science in construction management and also bachelor degree in civil engineering, both also from UTM. And I am proudly to say that I am one of the athletes from UTM that I am national athlete when I was with UTM when I'm doing my diploma back year, so many years back. All right, that's it. And then next, I would like to during the next 20 minutes, all right, I will present overview of how all of us here can review or can do a decision, can make a decision on how we are going to do our design or our roof truss and framing system. And of course, not forgetting the structural decking. Okay, so therefore, we have organized this talk in the following way, which is first, since the corporate introduction has been done earlier, the second, I will continue with the introduction of cold form steel roof truss and framing system and structural decking. And the third topic will be on the key consideration and design of cold form structure. Right? Okay. So as we know that we can use cold form in various applications. In NS Bluescope Lysaght, we can use the cold form steel application can be used for roofing, walling, and ceiling. Also for structural decking. Okay, this is structural decking for floor construction, and also for roof trusses and wall framing. What are those? We are mainly, as just now Eric has talked more on the roofing, walling, and ceiling. For my part, I will be talking only for the structural decking and roof truss and wall framing only. Right. So let me introduce what is roof truss and wall framing. Okay. So what is lightweight cold form steel system, or in short term LCFS, as sometimes we call it as cold form steel system only. Sometimes we call it prefabricated cold form, and there's a lot of terms that we can find, right? So for basically, form steel is member are made from structural quality steel sheets that are formed into C section. So this is the C section. Okay, this is C section, and other shape by roll forming the through a series of dies. Okay, so this is C section. If you can see, there's a two different shape here, not different shape but different profile. Where the C channel, there's a groove lines here, and also the lips, right? All these will contribute to the strength of these components. And then for the U shape, there's no lips and no groove lines. Of course, for these two members, they are having different strength. Okay, so a variety of steel thickness are available to meet a wide range of structural and non-structural application. Okay, a cold form steel roof trusses, this is the roof trusses system, is composed of individual members, can be top and bottom. Okay, if I can draw here, if you can see here, this is top chord and this is bottom chord and web. So all this to be fabricated and to be combined or to be assembled to have a roof truss system. Okay, and wall framing consists of the bottom part of this picture is a cold form wall framing, which consists of studs, nogging, top and bottom plate. They are individual members, are also commonly used the same C section, and to fabricate them, we to assembly all these component, we just need to have to use the subscribing screws. You usually use as a fastener to connect the components members. Okay, so this is the complete house using roof truss system and wall system. Okay, this is the difference, the benefits if you are using LCFS compared to timber and concrete and masonry, which is, we know that by using the LCFF which is a growth market, it has many benefits over other building materials such as timber, concrete and masonry, where we know that for this system, we are supported by CAD and CAM integrated, precise dimensional accuracy, fully modular, and so on. Okay, and the wall frame can be designed and prefabricated in a factory using computer-aided design or CAD and CAM to precision using computer-aided manufacture. This means it is easier to guarantee the quality when compared to site assembly. For example, this is one of the projects in Pulau Perak, located at Kedah, in Kedah. So where is the location of this building? It is located on top of the island. So can you see? This is the site location. Okay, how to bring all these components, all these materials to this site? We have to provide the staircase, temporary staircase, to bring all the required components to this area. So basically, this Perak Island is a small rocky island which consists the westernmost extremity of Malaysia territory. Okay, so this island is sandstone rock that rises from Strait of Malacca. Okay, so basically, it is expected to be designed. This building designed to be designated as a marine protected area. Okay, another project which is in Pulau Redang. This is project. So what I am trying to show here, if you are using cold form steel, it can be applied. It can be used at mostly at anywhere. Okay, on top of the hills. Also, you can use it at the marine areas. Okay, and how to construct this wall framing. Okay, this is one of the project reference in Sabah Dive School. Okay, we bring the materials in bundles. Okay, and be arranged according to the construction plan. Okay, the assembly. Okay, assembly, and then the completed wall to be stacked and positioned at the nearest designated area so that the next installation can be done. Okay, this is some of the okay. You can see here how light this cold form steel. We can just use the workers that we need to install these components or this wall framing, only about 4 or 3% only. Okay, so by using cold form, we can reduce the site problems or site challenges when we know that one of these construction challenges is shortage of labour. Okay, and then also there's a lot of wastage. So by using this cold form, we can eliminate or we can reduce these challenges. Okay, same goes to roof truss. Okay. In order to design this kind of roof, okay, when we know that the cantilever or overhang quite huge here. So can cold form design, can cold form fulfill this requirement? Okay, so this is one of the questions that most architects will ask and the consultant will ask. Okay, so basically we have to check whether it's suitable for cold form or not. We have to check the design or the loading. Okay, the design itself and also the loading that will be imposed to the structure. So here are the design code that we are referring to when we are designing the steel frame, whether it is for trusses or framing. Okay, so you can see this is a typical complete building solution where we have roofing, we have trusses, wall framing, floor joists, and also the floor system. Okay, and let's have and this is also one of the project references. Okay, what will I on this picture? Okay, when we are designing this roofing system or roof truss system for this building, it looks like very simple, right? It's a like square rectangle design. How difficult it is, okay? But whether it's simple design or complicated design, the most key consideration that we have to observe is the loading. Okay, dead load, life loads. You know, everyone, I think here you've gone through the building structure where you know that dead loads consists of the self load of the component itself, also the roofing system. Okay, the roofing system, the M&E, and so on. What is life load? Life load is the for example, rain, wind load, and so on, consider the live load. And any materials that any loads that are not permanent on and off to be applied on the structure, we consider as a live load. Okay, and then we have to check also what type of building, what application of building. For example, the safety factor that we have to impose for this for the hospital require 15%. We have to factor in 15% from the basic design load. Okay, especially for wind load, right? So we have to know what is type of building. Okay, different building will we have to use different factor. Okay, so on the dead load and live load. Also, we have to check what is the height of building. Again, the height of building also very important because it will have a different value of the wind. Okay, wind loading and wind actions. Span, what is span? So span is support point from one point to one point. For example, what is the span from column to column? So that is very important. And what is the span of beam to beam? Why we need to know this span? Because that is where our truss to be supported. And then roof design, especially pitch. Okay, the angle of the design, the angle of the roofing. Okay, the higher of the roof will also contribute to the required higher strength of the trusses. Same goes to overhang. Okay, look at this example. This building, it looks like very short from far, but it's actually about 2.4 meter. That's why we require additional propping. And then the clearance height. Okay, architects very concerned on the clearance height, especially the ceiling. Okay, and also when you have the sloping ceiling, right? That is all these. Okay, all these contribute to the how big or how many components need to be used for the roof trusses. Also for the opening, we have to consider too. Okay, let's, right? This is outer view, okay, external view for this building. Let's have a look. What can we have for the, if we cut the section of the roof area. So this is one of the section where consists of the openings, consists of the we have to consider just now the loading, dead loads and live load, right? So the opening, for example, this is the water tank, all right? We have to check whether the conform is suitable for this design or not. Okay, you can see the opening here is quite big, and then the overhang here is also quite big, right? And there's a gutter here, gutter to receive the rainwater. Okay, so all this loading need to be considered. Okay, the span support from here to here, maybe to here and here. Okay, openings for the water tank, clearance height. Okay, we have to check whether the clearance height enough or not for maintenance also. And overhang. So this is some of the pictures for this side. Okay, there's an opening here for us to walk through. Okay, so we have to check whether all this opening is sufficient or the component can cater the openings or the loading as well. Okay, so this is the typical loading roof trusses that normally we will consider. Okay, some of the picture of the top plate for steel framing. Okay, common start. There is also a guideline on how to space or how to provide the start spacing and nogging. Okay, so this is some of the project. This is one of the case example for the Sarawak Museum. Okay, I'm not going to go through very detail on this, but just to highlight that this building consists of cold form and also mild steel. Okay, so the span approximately 42 meters. So we have to provide few sections, combine it. Okay, so this is a roofing system, build-up system for this Museum Sarawak. Okay, let's have a look on the steel structure construction. Okay. Okay, my time is up. Okay, some of the ring truss. Okay,
Don't
give me
worry,
a few minutes.
right? You can just
Give me a
proceed.
few minutes. All right. So this is installation of truss for flat roof. You can see here. Okay, this is the design. Right, this is the side. Okay, there's a lot of girder truss. Okay, main arch, outer arch. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is the roof. This is the roof system built up. Installation of bubble fall and spacer first, and then followed with laying of rock wool, laying of fiber, cement, board, laying of bituminous felt, and lastly 360 seam. Okay, so this is the sequence of roofing system, the application. The detailing. Top view. Right, so I can skip this. Of course, in Lysaght, safety is number one. Okay, every site need to observe safety. Okay, safety ladder is provided. Okay, for curve area. Okay, lifeline of bridge. Right. Okay, let me continue with structural decking. A little bit on structural decking where we have Lysaght bonded 2 and smart deck. Okay, this is bond deck. This bond deck will be used for the flooring system for KLCC. This is smart deck for TRX exchange signature tower 106. We only require about 1 year to complete the floor to deliver this flooring system to this signature tower. And then we have also power deck for Singapore market. Okay, it's completed on the Merdeka PNB 118. It's about 2 years we're supplying this product, this Lysaght bonded 2 for the flooring system. Okay, basically where is the floor slab? Okay, basically you can't see here, but let's zoom in. This is elevation view. Okay, let's remove the facade. Okay, zoom in on to the column and beam construction. Okay, let's see let's say this is RC column, and this is the fin plate to connect the steel beam. Okay, we apply the bond deck 2 or the smart deck and provide any required steel reinforcement bar and then concrete pouring. So this is what we call composite slab. Okay, composite slab means that we combine 2 different materials. Okay, this is how one of profile production for the and there's a roller to profiling. This is profiling. This is the roller profiling. Then you can see the rib. And that is the end product. So the benefit using the structural decking compared to reinforced concrete floor, we can eliminate one of the process of reinforcement concrete design, reinforcement concrete construction, where we are eliminating the process of dismantling the formwork. Okay, this is some of the structural decking picture. You can see the highway. Okay, at the bottom part, you can see the GI color. Okay, at the car park. PNB. Same goes to the any structures. When we are designing, we need to refer to the drawings, and we will find where is the support. Okay, this is the support, and we will design according to the support given. So of course, we are supporting by the our own software, which is Megafloor, in designing the composite design, composite slab. And the most important thing when we are designing the composite slab, we need to know what is the span. Again, span is support to support, and what is the thickness of the slab, and of course the loading to be applied into the structural system. So this is one of the output. Right, that's it. Any questions? Oh, sorry, the question to be
I'll collect first. Yeah, Miss Suraya.
Right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Suraya Johari, also our UTM alumni, for the interesting topic on the entitled key considerations in the designs of the cold form steel roof truss and framing system for the optimized sturdiness and strength. So the informative presentation gave our audiences a good overviews of the designs of the cold form steel roof trusses, and a very good case study as well as the samples to give the overview. So that is I hope that the students are able to capture and make use of the information given by Ms. Suraya and proceed with your project. All right, I think I will try to collect all the questions first. If you have any questions, especially our students and audiences, okay, please drop it in the chat box. So I will bring it to the ends of the sessions later. All right, now let us go into our last speakers for the today's sessions, Mr. 𝘾𝙗𝙤𝙤, who is the Technical Marketing Engineer from NS Bluescope, Malaysia. So he is going to deliver the topic entitled Taking Advantages of the Different Pan Finishes. So Mr. Rocky, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lang. Okay, so the title, taking advantage of different paint finishes, has got to do with color choices and paint selection, right? So of course, today I think we are focusing a lot on the external cladding, roof, and so on. But if what covering in this short session, which I'll try to keep it as short as possible, is that once you have you are aware of the what to look out for in a different type of finishes, then you are able to be very confident in choosing different what you want, right? So I think it roots from the difficulties, or rather the challenge of deciding what color and finish to choose. So I think if, let's say, our students here, some of you might, you might know someone, or you yourself is someone who is quite indecisive in terms of selecting different things, right? So this might give you a clearer path to deciding what color and finish for your project. Okay, so I have divided my session into 3 parts. Okay, so the first part is effect of sunlight. So this has got to do with what it will affect, and how you should acknowledge sunlight, and how it affect your building. So of course, the second and third point has got to do with how the color interact with sunlight, and how the finishes, the different type of finishes, interact with sunlight. So I'll keep it short to these 3 points. So at the end, I'll just summarize it and give you a key takeaway for these 3. Okay. So okay, the first point, effect of sunlight. So as we all know, sunlight is basically a spectrum of light, right? And you most often can see it by naked eye if, let's say, you come by a rainbow. So this is in essence the range of color spectrum for sun, right? That is visible to our naked eye. So here, what you are seeing on the diagram is what we call the light spectrum. Okay, and of course, within this light spectrum that is emitted by the sun, right? This part is what arrive on Earth, meaning arrive on the Earth crust, right? And our buildings are exposed to. So the part that is in green, which I'm highlighting, is what we call the visible light. So just now, the example of rainbow is shown over here. So why color is and light are so interdependent is because if the building itself is subject to different time or different light spectrum, right? For example, if, let's say, I go to evening, right? So the light spectrum itself will start narrowing down into a smaller spectrum. So you are seeing the maybe the red spectrum and then the orange spectrum shining on the building. So your building, in essence, will become much more orangey and yellowish in color. Right. So that is why color and light is so interdependent, because without light, you are not able to perceive color. So what I mean by that, for example, if you look at the building here, if this building itself change into so-called darkness, okay, at night, then you are not able to perceive what color it is. Okay, and it is so subjective to so-called the light that is artificial, like street lights, LED lights that are to illuminate what color the actual building is. Okay, but by and large, what you perceive the color to be of a building depend a lot on the biggest light source on Earth, which is the sun. Okay, so what it means is that you have to first understand how the light works, right? And also the morphing of your building when it comes to color choice, right? In different time of the day, it will appear very differently. So this gives you a lot of dynamic in terms of designing a building that is attractive and also contextual to the time. Okay, so of course, aside from the visible spectrum of light, there are functional and technical part of it as well. So the visible light is nice to have, and it's nice for us to perceive. But there are large part of it, as you can see from the orange part, which is what we call infrared light spectrum. So this part of the sunlight also hits the Earth crust. You will not be able to see it with your naked eye, right? But this is the part where it in certain part of the world which experience 4 seasons, or even to the extent of long year of winter, this is crucial to them because it is the only only heat source for them. But places like in tropical like Malaysia, this part tends to pose a threat as we rapidly develop our city, right? Because this part itself will be this infrared light spectrum will be absorbed by any material that is shine under the sun. Okay, so to show you the impact, let me just share with you this picture on the left. So on the right is basically showing you the sunlight and how it shines onto us, right? So infrared light during this is high noon on the left side photo. You normally would not see how the infrared impact you until you change the lens to become infrared camera, right? If you guys have a capability or such a device to actually measure or to capture it, then you will be able to know firsthand what I mean, right? So over here, there are areas that are more yellowish, and then there are areas that are more purplish or bluish. So the bluish one indicates it's cooler than the reddish one. Okay, so over here, choosing of light or the choosing of colors will definitely impact how the different building material absorbs this infrared light, right? And it's not one number for every single material. So choosing of different colors and different material will be crucial in terms of building design, which comes to my next point, which is colors and sunlight. Okay, so I believe you guys are designing a project where there'll be a lot of spectacles, looking at the building, right? A canopy or pavilion or whatnot. So in terms of the perception of color to the naked eye, definitely color will be one of the straightforward indicator, right? So of course, just for your awareness, there are two parts to what a color is made out of for most components, or most paint, say. So the first part is what we call pigment, right? So pigment makes up the color of the paint. Okay. Of course, there is another component to it, which is called resin. Okay. So resin or even binder, they are the one that binds the pigment together. So they hold the pigment together so that they do not fall off, and then they hold them, depending on the formula, they hold them for longer or for shorter period of time, right? It is relative to what type of resin and what type of pigment you are using. Okay, but another aspect that is lesser known or lesser discussed by a lot of professionals and always overlooked is the interaction of colors with sunlight in terms of the infrared light spectrum. Okay, so here I'm showing you a picture on the right, which is again an infrared photo. Right on the left, I'm showing you a roofing sheet that is like black color. Okay, so assuming the light shines onto this black color roofing sheets, right? So how much of the heat is absorbed by the roofing sheet? It depends on the color. Okay, this is the first part, right? So if let's say it's a black color, then it will absorb quite a lot of heat, and the roof itself will heat up more relative to, let's say the color of the roof is gray color. Okay, and of course, if let's say the roof is white color, then it will absorb less heat. So this is a very, very relevant discussion in this day and age, because you see a lot of big developers, big companies, all are talking about going green, right? But these kind of small actions are most often overlooked, right? Where they talk about solar panels, they talk about so-called any other sort of technology. But the very straightforward thing that you can do is to look at how the color of the building, especially the exterior, because we are talking about surfaces that are exposed to sun. Look at how it interacts with the sun, right? So the most straightforward way is looking at the color, of course. But of course, later on I'll share with you an index where you can use to filter out, okay, which are the colors that I think I want to go for, right? If I want to design for a building that is cooler in nature and also does not create so much impact, right? So this is the first index. Of course, second index is what they call thermal emissivity, which I will not go deeper today. Looking at the time. So thermal emissivity is an indicator of how much of the heat gets emitted back into the environment readily. Okay, so of course, it depends on how much of the heat is absorbed first, then how much of the heat is readily emitted back to the environment. Okay, so with these two factors, what each building material, right, with different colors, will have its own what we call solar reflectance index. Okay, it's an index, so it is unitless. And that index itself is dependent on mainly these two factors: solar reflectance and thermal emittance value. Okay, so with these two, you are able to calculate the solar reflectance index, or in short, we call them SRI. Okay, so SRI, a higher SRI typically means that it is absorbing and it is emitting less heat back to the environment. Okay, a low SRI means that it will emit more heat back to the environment. So if you look at the picture on the right here, just now I did not show all these things, but now I'm showing you now how it is affecting an environment. So over here, what you can see is, if you look at these two first, the white roof and then the gray roof. So the white roof itself is cooler compared to the gray roof. That's the first thing. And of course, asphalt roof, which is normally is black color, it will be the main heat, so-called sink. I would say heat sink or heat mass, right, of the infrastructures that we have nowadays. Okay, so another thing is trees, right? So why when we want to refer to a green building, normally you will associate it with plants and all that, because I think plant itself, they absorb the solar energy and then they do not translate it into heat. They translate that into their food. That's why I think conversion of energy from solar energy did not get translated into heat, but rather into their food through the plant process. Okay, so of course for inorganic material, okay, so meaning materials that do not grow and do not evolve over time, so preferably minerals and so on, we look at the SI value. So nowadays, because of the advancement and also the commonality of all these technology to measure, so each color that you select will definitely come with a solar reflectance index right next to it. So over here, what you can see is that lighter color definitely will have a higher SRI value, and is actually better for you to choose a lighter so-called higher SRI value color compared to a lower SRI value color, right? And back to my original problem statement that I mentioned. Most often, if let's say you have a difficulty in terms of choosing what color you want and justifying it, then choose the lighter color one. Okay, because of course lighter color, I mean higher SI value, because nowadays there are a lot of technology that even a darker color can have high SI value depending on the ingredient that they put. So look for the SI value, and that will be a deciding factor for you to choose what color you want. Okay, so that is the first point. Okay, so the second point is on finishes and sunlight. Okay, so functionally, it will not be so critical in terms of the heat gain, right? That means it will choosing of different finishes will be minimal in terms of what kind of heat that you will gain from the facade. Okay, but from a visible perspective, from a very sentimental or sometimes kinesthetic point of view, then finishes might affect how one perceives the building, right? So it has got to do with art, it has got to do with perception. Okay, so of course, today I'll just briefly cover things that are available in the market, so you can design based on that in mind. Okay, so so the first one is what I call matte finish. Okay, so nowadays there are a lot of surfaces, with high rises, you get more surfaces per square meter, right? For within an area. So what happens is that especially in urban area, if you have more surfaces reflecting sunlight, then you have more chances for what we call solar glare, right? So there are chances where somewhere next door there'll be neighbors cursing bad words on there are glass shining onto my building. And we observed this in Singapore because there were a lot of complaints about it. Okay, so the matte finish was there to actually address such an issue. So over here, what you can see is that these different finishes of material, they are all in fact in the same color, right? But under the sun, the color will be intensified and much more critical in terms of the color intensity. If let's say the finish is very glossy, okay, and the more matte finish surface will tend to be softer in terms of color. So you will not perceive it to be a very strong color, and it most often comes across as much more gentle and much more elegant, right? So and you can see it if let's say we look into the sun through the panel, it's like a mirror. Like let's say a mirror, it will be much more sharper than here. It will be a right round circle because of the sunlight, right? But of course, this one has a certain madness to it, but then it's not as matte as we want it to be. So if you increase the matte finish or effect, then it will disperse the sunlight even more. So it makes it softer, right? And how we measure it, as if you notice all the units here, is by the term what we call gloss unit. So gloss unit is also a unitless index, just like SRI, but this unitless index will determine how glossy a surface is in terms of how reflective it is. So over here, what I'm showing you is two different panels of different finishes. One is matte on the left, and the other one is less matte. I would say glossy, because there are more glossy ones. Okay, but if let's say you see it under not direct sunlight, then both of them will appear very similar in terms of color. Okay, but it's just that if let's say it shine under sunlight, direct sunlight like this, right, then the matte finish will tend to be softer. Again, I think you heard me say soft quite a few times, and much more elegant, right? So some examples like this. So it depends on your design intent. Okay, so of course, if you want to come across as flamboyant, want to come across as even more striking, then metallic finish would be something that you want to look for. Just now, I think Eric showed like the Hans studies in Malacca or even Sarawak Museum, right? So this kind of metallic finish tends to be very striking, and if your building design calls for that, and you intend for it to stand out from the crowd, then perhaps metallic finish will be something that you are looking for, right? So different school of thought here. Okay, so just to understand how metallic works and how it gives you the effect of metallic, you have to understand that the paint itself is not homogeneous, meaning there are what we call metallic flakes within the paint layer itself that will give you a certain effect, right? And playing around with this orientation of these metallic flakes will also give you a very different effect. So if let's say you change the orientation, you pay attention to this diagram here. So if you change the orientation of the panel, then the effect itself will, looking from same angle, will be very different, right? So why I say that it's very suitable for building that that calls for attention is because in every single angle that you're looking at it, it will be different in terms of effect. So that's why you can see from here, right? This roof. So from every single angle you are looking at it from a very different, I mean, it's giving you different finishes and different impression, right? And of course, that is what those artists and so-called model would want you to look at them at different angle. So that's what metallic finish is synonymous with compared to matte, which wants to be singular in most of the angles that you are looking at. Okay, so here is an example close-up of course, slightly different colors, but you can see the orientation of the panels is slightly different, and it gives you a drastically different metallic results. All right, so of course, the last but not least is textured surface. So this is something that's not new. Of course, everywhere you go, plastered wall and all that. If let's say you do not want it to be smoothened, definitely it will be rougher, right? So, but for cladding material, of course, technology has evolved to where textured finish can be produced for your roofing or for wall cladding and so on. And the intention of creating this product itself is, as you can see from here on the right here, that it gives you a much more a mixture of both matte and also metallic. So it's a mixture of both, but the working principle is that it's much more rougher in finishes. Okay, so the grain, so-called the roughness itself is much more bigger compared to a matte finish, which is just a very small amount of wrinkles. Okay, and what these I would say what this will be very useful for is if let's say you want the your design, if you want it to be rustic, you want it to be very rough and down to earth kind of thing, then this will be something that you can strike for. Of course, another thing that you may want to achieve with this is if the building itself with this cladding is close to where the human can reach. So why I say that is because you can make that decision, right? The finishes that I mentioned earlier, those normally will be in a smoother finish, right? Except for matte, which if you touch on it, really literally you can feel softness. But when it comes to textured finish, right, it's the other spectrum. People who wants and yearns for textured, want to touch those kind of finishes, then textured will be something that you may look for. Okay, so I'm nearing the end of my presentation. So what I'm trying to say for today's session is that definitely there are choices for you to choose in terms of different types of colors, different types of finishes. But one thing is for sure is that you need to first acknowledge how it interacts with sunlight, because sunlight is the major factor, or is the major source of how a building is being perceived. And of course, different finishes will give you different effect in terms of visual, and different colors will give you different effect in terms of felt, right? How it affects the environment, how it heats up, and so on. Right. So with that information, you are able to decisively choose what kind of color you want and justify for why you choose that color. All right. So with that, I end my session, and back to you, Dr. Nang.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rocky, with the interesting fact looking at the advantages of the different pan finishes. So it was a very informative and enlightening topic. So especially for the design students to opt for their design materials and colors, which would giving the great impact to the environment. Okay, so we have for all our speakers, we have ended their talk. So now I would like to thank all our speakers who involved and I would like to open the sessions to the Q&A. So should you have any questions, so you can open up your mic and feel free to ask the questions, or you can put your questions in the chat box and make sure you quote which speaker you want your question to reach. Okay, from the floor, anyone that you wish to ask a question verbally first? Because I have a set of questions that I would direct to our three speakers later on. So now I open up to the floor first. Not yet. Okay. All right. So now I straight going into the questions. So far, I have one question for Mr. Eric. Okay. Can Lysaght materials be integrated with other materials like timber and other so forth, like maybe we could have other concretes and so forth? Mr. Eric?
Okay, thank you for the questions. Okay, firstly, if let's say your material, if after install the metal, right? So if you would like to add like copper or any other materials like aluminum, maybe to install the solar, everything's, then it must be compatible material with metal. So if let's say you would like to add in a lining arrestor, then you are encouraged to use either color bond or steel material or aluminum, but not copper. So am I answer your questions? If let's say like if you want to use, say about like you are using a timber truss, and you want to add another metal roof, you are okay to do so. Yes.
So means that the experts from Bluescope Lysaght will advise the clients if they have these kinds of the situations that wish to mix or want to attach both types of the material. Am I right?
Because it's very common that some of the factories they want to save the energy, right? They will like install a solar panel. So all those connections that with the metal roof then is very important to us. Secondly is lining arrestor. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Eric, for the answer. Okay, we have few questions for Miss Raya. Okay, maybe I will deliver the first question first. How long does the Lysaght material last, and is it durable and resistant to fire, especially to the cold form material that you presented just now?
All right. Let me answer. I think for roofing and walling materials, I need Rocky to help me to answer on that. But I will answer on the structural decking, where we are using GI for bonded and smart deck. All right, for GI and for GI, we it depends on the on how long fire rating required for the design. Okay, for example, we conduct the test for bonded for 2 hours, and also in our brochure, technically, theoretically, it can be last up to 4 hours. Okay, we conduct the cerium test as well for bonded and for smart deck. Right, but of course, we are not testing it on the bonded itself only. It must be tested with the concrete, because it is composite design. Under the composite design, it is include the formwork, the reinforcement, where the reinforcement also will cater will cater on the tension part that due to the fire effect.
I see. Okay. Yeah, just wondering, is there any additionals from Mr. Rocky regarding to these questions?
I will answer the first part, because just now you asked about the durability of the roof form material by Lysaght. So the material that Lysaght use is mainly coming from our side. So coated steel is what we are talking about. So of course, if you want to put a brand to it like Colorbond and Zincolum, those are the common requested material that I would say practitioners are preference practitioner would prefer over a lot of our other material because of the availability and this cost effectiveness. So of course, why I say cost effectiveness is because I think the longevity of it, the cost per use is way lower compared to what some of the material that you can get out there. The reason is because I think when you choose a material, the key questions, I mean for cladding, the key question is not just how beautiful it is and how long it can last in terms of look, but also how long it can last in terms of corrosion, prevent all these leakages and all that. And this question is especially crucial, I would say, if you're designing for the less privileged or you're designing for the low cost. Most often, I think the investors would think that, hey, low cost, it can just quote a price and then you design to meet the price. And there's a risk in that and that practice and that approach, because if you go to that level, you most often are sacrificing a lot of technical capability of the cladding for you to meet the price. But then what happens is that you will sacrifice the quality and also the performance of it, and end up, if let's say now we have a lot of changing weather, one gust of wind that's stronger than the design limit, then the roof will fly away. But the question remains, why are we lowering the quality of the house who are paid by those people in the middle and lower class, right? That is the question that I struggle to get an answer from a lot of developers and a lot of designers. So of course, when it comes to designing for the luxurious pretty ones, of course budget I don't think is an issue, and most often you are looking at 20 to 30 years lifespan. Yeah, so longevity 20 to 30 years is considered one person's career, and I think it is good enough for of course we are expecting longer than that based on what we have seen so far, 40 years and so on. So I think those will be the duration that you should look for, not just on the higher end of the design, but also at the lower end of the design. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think exactly I agree with you, Mr. Rocky, regarding to the explanation. Yeah, durability is basically quite important, especially in the envelopes as well as the structures of the building in this case.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question, I think also for Ms. Raya. How long does it take to construct the materials on site? Okay, if let's say we're using the cold form, does the materials need to be prefab in the factory first, then assembly on the site, or we can just doing mix and match and assembles it on the site? Okay, means that we have a drawing, then we bring all the components of the steel cold form, then we bring it to site and we pass down over there or install over there. Is it possible for us to do so?
Yes, it is possible. But for wall framing, quite difficult because there's a lot of stud. But for what we do, for roof trusses, okay, we will produce standard length, for example, 12 meters. 12 meters because of the limitation of transportation, we can load up to 12 meters only, right? So we send the standard length to the site, and at site we will cut according to the component's length and then assembly. And of course, in terms of how long to construct, okay, it depends on the project scale. Okay, it depends on how many workers that you have and how difficult the design is. All right. For example, if you still can remember my case study for Daif School in Sabah, all right, about 240, let's say 240 meters square area, right? If we have 10, based on our track record previously, if we have 10 workers, we can complete within 30 to 40 days only, right? But of course, the scale is 240 meters square. It is quite we are talking about the construction at site only, when the material already at site, right? And the foundation all already done, completed. The foundation, the footing, all done. So I'm talking about only the framing itself. So we need about 30 to 41 days, not only to complete the roof trusses and wall framing, but also to complete with the cladding, the wall cladding, and also the roofing sheets.
I see. Okay, just wondering about the cutting parts. Is that we required to have a special machines for us to cut the cold form, or it could be using common tools from our house or whatever? Yeah. So this will be one of the questions that I think we're interested to know, because
Right.
probably we have the project later on. Yeah. Mhm.
It's a mobile that the tools to be used to cut the channel is only the simple tools, the cutter, the normal cutter, or also the shear, the steel shear, not the normal gunting lah, the shear cutter that because we have to prevent we know that at the cutting area is where the rust or the corrosion will attack, okay, the rust, the rust point is at the cutting point. So you have to just a simple cutter, okay, or the shear, because we also need to do we need to do some modification inside. So the normal shear cutter should be fine.
So is there any requirements for the installations and assemble parts? Like it has to have some bodies from Lysaght, the technical teams, in order for the installations parts, especially by using the cold form materials. So it's all we could like buy the materials from Lysaght, let's say. Then after that we have custom mats. Then we can screw it up by ourselves, by our students, and so forth.
All right. Normally, okay, what we have very comprehensive guideline, okay, on how to cut, on how to assemble, on how to screw. The guidelines are already stated what is the tool required and where you need to screw the components. So of course, some of our all of our installer have gone through the trainings, but if for the student we can have one training, okay, or else if you think that you are confident by just looking at our manual guidelines, it should be fine, no problem.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. I think that would be fine, like a technical assistance, right? To provide it to the whoever that want to apply for that.
Yes.
Yeah, another questions. When using the cold frame, does it need any foundations or footing? Can the structure using cold form be something like movable structure, like portable structure? Because it seems very light, right? Just now when we looked at the photos. So can we do something which is light, like the portable structures, furnitures, kinds of a thing, by using the cold form?
Like those old kampung house, you can move from
Yeah.
one point to one point. Yes, it is possible. But of course, you have to think on how to anchor. You have to design the anchor part, okay, from the column. Maybe if you have column or your tilt to the ground slab, or to the ground, or to the footing. So that is the one of the design part that you have to consider on the anchorage part. And also, what was the first question just now?
It's about the need any foundations or footing.
Yes, of course. It depends on the soil condition. The structure need to be attached, to be connected to foundation system.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Ms. Raya. So we have another question for Mr. Rocky. What is the best color coated in the Malaysian context proposed by Lysaght or NS Bluescope for the solar reflectance? What is the most common colors, basically, or recommendations from NS Bluescope?
Of course, most common color and the most recommended color to shield against thermal are two different things. Because common one, maybe a different investor would choose very differently. But we do see a trend that whiter color tend to be much more preferred. So if we look at our brochures, something like off-white or African white is gaining popularity, meaning all the white colors. Again, this has got functional value to it. Previously, white color wasn't preferred because of the scare of it being stained with or being looks more dirty, easier to get dirty. But because of the advancement of technology, and we also have something called clean technology, that itself minimize and reduce the dirt for foreseeable amount of time, and people are more susceptible now to choosing white color. And if you see some of the development, right? So especially those are flat roof scenario, so they are choosing white color also. Of course, if let's say those roofs that are in much more angular format, then perhaps they will want to choose something that is much more appealing to the whole, or they are much more consistent to the whole design concept. So it depends. So again, if let's say you ask me, I think I will encourage you to first consider white color and justify using the benefits, functional benefits that it can give to the building. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for the reply. I think that is a very informative answers, especially for students who are dealing with project. Okay, I think in the chat box we have questions from Kairu. Okay, in terms of the maintenance, is the cladding material is easy to maintain, and how often it need to be maintained? Yeah.
If I can.
Anyone? Yeah.
Cladding material itself, I mean, if you look at roof, right, we would recommend it not to be touched, meaning actually with the as long as you get rainwater, then you don't need to really do anything to it. It is maintenance, minimal maintenance unless there are a few things. So just now Eric highlighted one point is like soft stains and so on. So if let's say the workmanship is not done right, then perhaps you might need to make sure that those particles, those rusted particles get removed, and then just leave it be. So it will perform as what we intend it to be. Another aspects of maintenance that you might consider is those what we call unwashed area. So in a building design, right, if you are designing a canopy, so you have upper roof and you have lower roof. Those lower roof, right, normally you will see accumulation of dirt at areas that are not vigorously washed by rainwater. So those areas are what we call unwashed area, right? So the unwashed area does not mean that it will not be exposed to water. It's just that it will not be exposed to vigorous rainwater to bombard on the surface to get rid of the dirt. So those areas you might want to look into maybe hosting down with some spray water, right, to get rid of it once in a while. Otherwise, you can just design a roof that has no unwashed area per se. Yeah.
Okay,
so otherwise, literally, it's just maintenance free.
All right, thank you very much for the answer. Okay, we have another, I think, last question, Babis, for Puan Suraya. May I ask if the LCFSS suitable for low-cost or housing projects? Is there any project being used this before?
Yes, it is very suitable. In fact, my half-cooked PhD study is based on framing, full form framing for low cost for Banjir project, but it's already found the dead end. So
okay,
but of
good.
course, this is the for low cost project is very stable if you are using co-form, because it's very light and you can reduce the foundation itself.
Okay, yeah, hopefully once Raya answer the questions. Okay. All right, I think we have come to our end sessions of today. So last but not least, I shall invite our UTM Architecture School's Director, Associate Professor Dr. Alice Sabrina, to deliver the closing speech for today's Industries Webinar Engagement Year 2022. So Dr. Alice, please.
All right. Thank you so much to the moderator, Dr. Lim Bao Chong. A very good afternoon to all, and Salam Ramadan Mubarak to all who attend today's event. So to the honorable guest speaker, thank you so much, Mr. Eric Chan, Ms. Suraya Johari, and also Mr. 𝘾𝗏𝗕𝗜𝗓𝙡 from Bluescope Lysaght. Thank you so much, guys, for accepting the School of Architecture invitation today as our guest speaker. So the talk presented by those three speakers representing Lysaght is actually a starting point for UTM Architecture School in realizing the quadruple and quintuple innovation Helix framework needs, which describes the collaboration between university, industry, government, and also the public environment interactions within the knowledge of our economy. So, or in other words, I would like to say Gucci collaboration, which is government, university, community, and industry collaboration. So the collaboration that we have today by having this webinar engagement is actually a key start by exposing our UTM students and academicians to Lysaght and looking into how the construction industry can actually contribute in making the building construction, especially in the architecture design, in the project, and also in real life project. So I hope that today's discourse will actually strengthen the ties between Lysaght and also the UTM Architecture School. And we're looking forward to have many future collaborations ahead, especially signing MOUs and also MOAs. So therefore, Lysaght can a lot of contribute to the community and also to our students in UTM, and also we also can contribute back to Lysaght in the sense of sharing knowledge and also expertise. So therefore, I once again would like to congratulate everyone, especially the team from Lysaght. Thank you so much, Mr. Eric Chan, Ms. Suraya Johari, and also Mr. 𝘾𝗏𝗕𝗜𝗓𝙡. Thank you so much on making today's event a success with our UTM Architecture School. So I'm also looking forward to the next collaboration that we'll have with Lysaght in terms of our studio lab as a living project. So thank you again. Thank you so much. And it's going to be a very long holiday. Raya is also around the corner. So the Chinese, the Malays, the Indians are going to celebrate because it's a big celebration here in Malaysia. So Selamat Hari Raya to all, to you, Ms. Suraya Johari, and also to all teammates from Lysaght. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Hope to see you guys again soon. All right, so I pass it back to you, Dr.
All right,
TC.
thank you very much, PM Dr. Alice Sabrina, okay, for the closing remarks. Okay, so yeah, very last but not least, okay, I would like to ask all of the attendees to open your cameras, and I would like to take the screenshots of our sessions today to commemorate the industry webinar series with the NS Bluescope Lysaght. So please don't be shy, please open up your camera for us to record the memorable sessions for today. So
Hello,
please.
Miss Santa. Finally, I can see you.
Hi, Santa.
Yeah, nice to see you, Santa.
Rocky need to join another meeting, so he has left already.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Miss Santa. So for students and all the audience, could you please switch on your camera? So we would like to take photos for these sessions. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, another one. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have 3 pages because today I think we have around 90 plus, yeah, audience. Okay, one more. 1, 2, and 3. All right, I think thank you very much, everyone, for attending the Industry Webinar Engagement 2022. And now we have come to the end of our sessions. Thank you again to our speakers, Mr. Eric Chan, Ms. Suraya Johari, Mr. 𝘾𝗏𝗕𝗜𝗓𝙡, and Ms. Santa Go. Thank you also the audience. It was a pleasure to have you all with us. So with this concludes the webinar series 1. We are from UTM, hoping that our collaboration doesn't end here. Hope you have a great days and goodbye for now. Selamat Hari Raya to all our Muslim friends and to all Malaysians. Okay. Yeah, happy holidays to all the students as well. Okay, see you again. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Kamsahamnida. Selamat Hari Raya.
Hari Raya.
Hari Raya.
Okay, selamat Hari Raya semua. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Becca.
Right,
Thank you.